Because before you can call me crazy, these wheels will be seen all over America. All over America. They're coming down over the major cities. So you won't be able to say it's swamp gas or little lights and people were drunk. They'll be down over Chicago. They'll be down over New York. You will look up one day and see them, and I don't want you to be terrified. They're your friends, black man.
Alright, peace, assalamu alaikum family. This is Brother Trevor checking in, a member of the Wheel Watchers podcast, and we'd like to welcome you to episode 3. Is there a black civilization on Mars? And before we get started, I would just like to point out that we now have an Instagram and Facebook page. Links will be in the description. Please be sure to like and subscribe, family. And I would just like to start with the revelation before I get into some documentation. Is there life on Mars? Of course, there's life on all 9 planets, as taught by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he was taught this by God Allah in person. And you know that they did actually discover water on Mars as early back as 1971. I'll get into some documentation about that later, but let's get into the words of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, this is in How to Eat to Live, Volume 2, Chapter 14. Allah God, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever, taught me that the people of the planet Mars live 1,200 of our Earth years. Good Lord, check that out. I don't know what they eat of their planet life, as Allah God did not teach me what they eat, and I did not ask him in the first place. The people of Mars eat what their planet produces from them to eat, and the planet produced the people of Mars, and it produces the food that they eat. I do not know what the planet produces other than the people of Mars. If I could fly to Mars, I do not I do not know whether I could say prepare fish, lamb, or chicken and have it prepared for me. That's hilarious. And let's go into the theology of time, some more documentation, shall we? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad says, anything up there on that moon, and he goes into Mars later. He says now he's making instruments to look at the civilization on Mars. Well, when he see what's on Mars, he won't see no mark of his. It's our Mars, our people, so God has taught me. He didn't know that they were there until a few days ago. He used to look at Mars and just call it a star, and that's all. But our fathers made it with intelligent beings like ourselves. They walk on 2 feet or hind. They are not animals. They are intelligent people. The marks that we see on Mars are not from ignorant, silly, uncivilized people. They show signs of civilization, and they look something similar to us. Not exactly, but they look similar. They walk on 2 feet, and they are not white folks. That shows you and teaches you that we of this planet, the black man, is the first, since we don't find no planet coming out with a super civilization over us. The Mars people, they have civilization, but it's not equal with ours, so God has taught me. They are not our equals. We are their superiors. They are superior in trying to live a long time over us. But this is because we got so much sense, we're crazy. That's right, and I'll pause it there. As a matter of fact, let's go into some more documentation, shall we? Or, revelation. This is from Mother Tanetta in her news article, Unveiling the Number 19, Volume 33, Number 36. We are taught by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad that the Martian lifespan is 1,200 years. That is certainly most significant since we can hardly reach 100 years living in the present reckless lifespan. We have also learned that the Martians reach a considerable height of more than 7 feet in stature and have communicated with the Master W. Fard Muhammad, the Great Mahdi. And man, this is absolutely incredible, absolutely powerful, family. And water actually was discovered as early back as to 1971 during the Mariner 9 mission. I mean, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us everything, because even now they have pictures of multiple pyramids on Mars. And if you If you haven't seen, I'll put the picture up of one of the pictures of the faces on Mars. Oh my God, take a look at that. This is absolutely incredible, family. As a matter of fact, I have a special treat for you. This is from the book, From the Motherland to the Mothership. This book was written by Charlene Wallace with her twin sister, Erlene Carr. And she goes into, in one of her chapters, as a matter of fact, one of her chapters is titled Mars is Predominantly Black. If you do not have this book, I would urge you to get it. I'm just going to read a little bit of it and then we'll get up out of here. I just don't want to spoil too much from the book. Now, this is on pages 53 and 54. Let's get into it. Later, a human-looking black woman who seemed to be a doctor entered the room. She's talking about being on Mars, of course. I'm sorry I didn't mention that earlier. She repeated what the other being had told me earlier, that this planet was occupied predominantly by blacks. Why was I receiving this information again? Possibly she recognized my inability to comprehend such an incredible statement. It was difficult to conceive of a place where blacks were dominating and so highly advanced. Could a place actually exist where race was not an issue? I could not integrate this knowledge with our history on Earth. We then went into some type of office. The same Dr. Bing sat down at a desk. On the wall behind her was a picture I recognized. Quickly shared my recognition of the picture with her, explaining that my parents had owned one exactly like it. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll stop that right there because I don't want to give any more spoilers in this phenomenal book. As a matter of fact, Charlene Wallace, she had multiple trips going on the wheel, going to Mars. I mean, she talks about so much. I'm not even going to spoil it. If you don't have it, get it. And with that being said, family, that concludes for episode 3 of the Wheel Watchers podcast. Episode 3, is there a black civilization on Mars? You can either take it or leave it. Oh yeah, family, before I get up out of here, now this right here is 100% documentation and verifies the teaching of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, this was quoted by Dr. Wesley before. I just thought I'd share it again. This is from the book Mind Trek by Joseph McMonigle. Now, he was a retired U.S. Army Chief Warrant Officer, and he was involved in remote viewing experiences. Now, you're thinking to yourself, now what is remote viewing? Don't worry, family, I got you covered. Remote viewing is basically a protocol that enables you to get impressions of targets blindly by means of your own psychic ability. So basically, you as the viewer are only given numbers. This is referred to as a tag. So you pull out some sort of pen and paper and begin describing your impressions using the tag as a sort of address. The tag responds to a target. So the target could be something like describe X at X time. So when you're filling out this paper, you can get all sorts of impressions using your 6 senses. You write down descriptions like hot, cold, etc. and you just describe. You can draw, write, both. When you're done with your session, you look at your feedback. Feedback is important because it's the grand reveal to the target you were just viewing that you were blind to. Feedback is a very important part because you want to see how accurate you are. It needs to be treated with a lot of care and discipline. So that basically is what remote viewing is. And speaking of that, in the CIA, May 22nd, 1984, they had a remote viewing. Joseph McMonigle, May 22nd, 1984, they had a remote viewing in the CIA, and it goes a little something like this. I won't read the whole thing, but I'll just give you a little taste. Now, here we go. Now, Joseph says, during his viewing, he says, these guys are really huge. Now, this is about the people on Mars, I mind you. Let me rephrase that. I think they are, but not now. That's why I think this is someplace in the future. These are really gargantuan people. This interviewer says, are they human? Joe, yes, they are very humanoid in form, but there are some basic differences. They look very frail, but they weren't. They have this huge bone structure and everything, but in their musculature, it's okay for what they needed to do. But in appearance-wise, they don't look as strong as your usually stocky short. Interviewer says, so they were different in some ways. Joe, yes, they were different in a lot of ways. Philosophically, oh my God, I'm messing up over my words, and there was some difference in their thinking. His interviewer says, now this concept that you have went somewhere into the future, that these people exist somewhere in the future. How does that parallel with what you just said about this difficult concept? That Joe says, okay, if we mutated 6 times over the next 10,000 years, it's kind of like I was saying, the mutated effect, the mutated results. Now that family just verifies the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad 100%. As a matter of fact, I'll just leave up this picture right here of those so-called humanoids that Joseph saw. Now, like the messenger said, they were 7 feet tall and they were skinnier than us. They were like us, but we are their superior. The black man and woman on earth, we are the superior. Now, man, that is absolutely fam. That is powerful. And I will leave you with that. Until next time, thank you so much. Please be sure to like and subscribe. And we love you. And always remember, when there's a will, there's a way. Peace.